St. Kitts. Good evening, Nevis.
It is a historic moment for St. Kitts and Nevis.
Special good night to those radio listeners, those viewing on television, and those following us via the internet.
And one of the things that I would like to see established in the CPL here in St. Kitts, as we can recall, the many entertainers, Gravy from Antigua, you had King Dial from Barbados, and a few others further afield.
Cricket World Cup 2007 proved that we are ready for the big league.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Roundtable presented by St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, National Caribbean Insurance, and Digital Security Services. I am your host, Clement O'Garo, and our discourse will highlight the effectiveness of energy efficiency in the Federation. Seated at the table are Lenrick Lake, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing, Energy and Works, Cartwright Farrell, CEO of the St. Kitts Electricity Corporation, SCELEC, and the holder of an MBA in Electrical Engineering, and Dr. Narain, a Director of Employee and Program at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryan College, where he lectures in Geography, Environmental and Agricultural Studies. Today starts the official observation of CARICOM Energy Week 2014, when member states take time out to highlight issues related to energy, its use and linkages with various sectors and the environment. The theme for this year's celebration is Achieving Climate and Economic Resilience through Sustainable Energy. Viewers and listeners, of course, will also get the opportunity to join us later on in the show. Before we get started with our guests tonight, we're going to hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back on the Roundtable.
The knowledgeable, professional, and friendly staff of NCI help me find the solutions to secure my fleet of vehicles and, most importantly, my family. Let National make you and your family safe and secure.
What I really liked were the options that I was given and the knowledge behind the choices, and knowing that I still have the ability to choose and make my own choice and not feel pressured into selecting a different plan.
National Caribbean Insurance is fully committed to providing excellent customer service and a diverse range of insurance products and services. Come and experience insurance the NCI way. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
National Bank presents its Christmas loan offer. Borrow up to $15,000 for all your shopping needs this Christmas. This offer is valid from November 1st to December 24, 2014. Call us today to make an appointment. National Bank, endless possibilities.
Want to get the latest news and information on demand? Check out ZIZonline.com. Our website is updated daily to bring you all the latest local, regional, and international news. Gone abroad and miss home? Check out ZIZonline.com for our live streams and uploaded local content. We're also on Facebook. Like our page and receive photos, info, and updates directly on your newsfeed. Living on the go? Then our new mobile website can work for you. Visit ZIZonline.com and get all the information you need on your phone's browser. ZIZonline.com, reaching you wherever you are.
Welcome back to the Roundtable. As I stated earlier, we're going to be dealing with energy efficiency in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. we have the permanent secretary here in the Ministry of Energy, Mr. Lenrick Lake. And Mr. Lake is going to give us a perspective as to some of the things that his ministry is doing. We know that today starts CARICOM Energy Week. I'm sure he's going to bring us up to speed on some of the things that his ministry is doing as well, too. So over to you, sir.
All right. Thanks for having me, Mr. O'Garrow. Could I call you Monarch?
Any one of those names are fine.
Okay.
I'm sure the people will recognize you.
Exactly. I say again, thanks for having me, and I want to say a special good evening to all who's watching on ZIZ TV tonight. This week, again, marks a very important week in CARICOM, where we are observing a week, an Energy Week. Energy Week started in 2008, so it's not something that just happened. It started in 2008, and this year it is being held this week under the theme, I think Monarch said earlier, achieving climate, environmental, and economic resilience through sustainable energy. Well, we have a pack week, and as I say again, this is a good launch pad because most of the time you'll see the minister here talking about giving a speech. But this time we wanted to be interactive, where we have the public talk to some of the stakeholders in the energy sector. So tonight we're at the round table. Tomorrow we'll be launching our Facebook page that's related to energy. And then on Wednesday, we are taking students from all the high schools on St. Kitts to a field trip to see all that has been done so far in renewable energy and energy efficient technology. And then on Thursday, we are hoping to have what we are calling the Energy Pledge Day. We are going to distribute some little tags and ask you to make one pledge to do something different in your household, your office, wherever you are, that deals with energy efficiency and energy savings. And then on Friday, we'll have the official opening of what we're calling our bulb exchange program depot, so that we'll now have persons being able to get a chance to get involved in the bulb exchange program straight from the Ministry of Energy. So we have a packed week, and this is probably the best way to start such a week that we can have everybody involved tonight.
Okay, and I know you only greeted the viewers, but of course this program is also on radio stations at IZ 96.1.
Okay, and so I'll have to greet the listeners as well.
And also for people all over the world,
on the internet.
On the internet as
Let
well.
me just say it. Everyone who's listening, watching this program, a special good evening to you, and we welcome an active participation tonight as we are here to engage you, to bring you up to speed what's been happening in the Ministry of Energy and what you as a consumer can also expect going forward.
Yeah, and I'm sure lots of people out there, wanting to know how can I reduce my energy bill. I know there was, of course, the bulb exchange project that has been taking place recently. Right. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to Mr. Farrell. Of course, you are the most important man when it comes to energy in St. Kitts. If you close your business, we'll all die from the heat. So we want to say welcome to ZIZ studio, and just your perspective on energy efficiency in the Federation as the CEO of SCELEC.
Thank you, Mr. O'Garrow. Thank you for having me, and good evening to all the listeners on ZIZ Radio and on the internet, and the viewers on ZIZ TV. Welcome to this round table, and I want to pick on something that Mr. Lake just said in terms of doing something different. I believe energy efficiency is about lifestyle change. You have to do something a little different. You have to understand that different practice. You can't be doing the same thing all the time and getting the same result and expect a change. So we are trying to change habits. We are trying to understand, have our customers at SCELEC understand that you use energy efficient bulbs, you use energy efficient appliances, and if you change the way you use your appliances, you may see a difference in terms of reduction in your bill.
All right, well, thank you very much for that. And of course, Dr. Narayan, I should say, welcome to the roundtable as well. And your opening remarks as it relates to, an energy efficient nation.
Well, first of all, say good evening to our viewers and listeners. I'm pleased to be here with you and our colleagues here. My thinking is that changing behavior is a very difficult thing. We perhaps cannot achieve energy efficiency by change of behavior alone. That could be very long term. And of course, if we don't employ the right strategies, it can be very, very difficult, but there are strategies. We should also look at how we can introduce certain technologies, simple technologies that can aid in that. Right. So it cannot just be simply by changing behavior. Right. And we can talk about the technologies later. Right. But when it comes to education and awareness of consumers, it's very difficult to achieve when we don't realize or cannot draw a direct relationship between the impact of a certain behavior or a certain initiative that we may have, and there's no relationship to that, or we cannot feel the impact. It must be a direct relationship, otherwise it'll be unknown, and then we will easily revert back to the original behavior without knowing what the difference is. So I'm interested in measuring impacts. If an initiative comes on board, how can we partner, let's say, with the college on a research basis, action research that is, to say, well, this is an initiative and this is the effect of it in measurable terms. And it could be done at an enterprise level, it could be done at an individual family level, at a community level, at a national level. So we could see the differences. Also in behavior, if a behavior is changed, then what is the benefit? What is the incentive to me? Now I know that, and you probably know more about this than I do, in terms of the subsidies. There are heavy subsidies, but do we realize how much that subsidy is? Right. We probably don't know. If the subsidy comes in a different way, where we can draw a direct relationship at our individual family or household level or the enterprise level, then we can say, well, hey, for good behavior, there's this, or for my category of or status, this is what the benefit is. And as a matter of fact, let me illustrate a point. If, let's say, we have a meter, how often do we look at the meter? Right. Probably won't look at it until I get a bill. I mean, I'd never see the meter until I get a bill, and then I realize how much I have to pay. But if maybe, just hypothetically, if I were to have a reverse meter, and you see it count down, maybe that's a different strategy. We could talk about that. Also, there are certain initiatives in some societies, and I can draw an example, for instance, maybe in Taiwan, let's say, on China, where there's a component of initiatives for children. Yeah. And because you have to look for changes of behavior over a long period of time, you can introduce it to children, a component for children, where it's intergenerational in the long term for sustainability. But also consider that children are ambassadors to their parents, their grandparents, and their communities. We have students coming from all over the country. They take information back and they impact behavior. So if we were to conceptualize some projects, student-based projects, where they can, at various levels, and they can come up with a difference, an impact in how it's changed. Their own household. Then I think it will be, we can impact behavior that way. Yeah. And there are other things I would like to introduce in terms of renewable energy, where if I were to propose the term or coin a term, prosumers. If consumers of energy become more producers of energy, their opportunities, they have opportunities to contribute to their consumers' behavior.
Well, we have SCELEC and we have the Ministry of Energy here, so I'm sure before the night is done, we will know exactly, how to be more efficient when it comes to energy. And I'm sure we're going to learn at the end of the night too that it's not just only turning off your bulb or turning off your lights. It's a lot more than that, and it's something that you have to do on a consistent basis. What we're going to do now is we're going to get a video clip of the Minister of Energy and also the Prime Minister who were at some events showing where St. Kitts Nevis is heading or trying to head to when it comes to energy efficiency. So let's take a look and see what the government is doing.
First of all, we saw the LED lights on the Kim Collins Highway. We saw then the solar lights from Sandy Point all the way down to St. Paul's. And even before that, we saw the installation of solar panels on the government headquarters. All of these efforts, they're all redound into creating St. Kitts into a green economy. We see the green economy not only as the area of renewable energy, but we see the green economy as a means of providing new opportunities for our people in St. Kitts. New opportunities in terms of jobs, new opportunities in creation of new technicians who will be available to carry out this agenda of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that is why I salute this activity this morning. Though it might be simple, but it's the handing over of a check from the government to the Ministry of Energy to really start the construction of the 1 megawatt solar plant. We see this not only as in the area of being able to provide some renewable energy for SCASPER, but we see it as a means of providing a learning ground, a teaching ground for our students to be able to interact with what is happening in the renewable energy, to be able to see beyond the new horizon where the government would want to take our people, because we would want to move the whole society and the whole community in this new area. As a government, we do appreciate that the cost of electricity continues to be of great concern to all of our citizens. To that end, the Ministry of Energy, the Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation, and SCELEC are in discussions on how to form or how to bring relief can be delivered to our consumers, which would involve some form of renewable energy as part of our energy mix that might involve solar, wind, geothermal, or waste to energy, and also a component of conservation on the part of our consumer. We expect very shortly within SCELEC a complete transformation and modernization of SCELEC. And I said to SCELEC this afternoon, the challenge is for you to get the work started. The consumers are saying that they cannot wait any longer. And I challenge SCELEC to immediately roll out the end-to-end project that will involve the whole modernization of SCELEC, the billing system that will facilitate the feed-in tariff, the smart meter that will also facilitate the feed-in tariff, and also the modernization of the grid that will be able to make the grid operating at a more efficient cost and redound to a reduction in the cost of electricity for our consumers. So SCELEC, your work is cut out for you from today.
This day has come, and I am deeply pleased that the long-held commitment of my government to transform our economy from one based on fossil fuels to one that is dependent upon green energy was indeed taking another important step forward and upward. And for this we have to thank you, our Minister of Energy, Dr. Martin, and our Minister of International Trade, Minister Skerrit, whose vision and commitment and negotiation skills were so pivotal to Speedtech Energy being able to open its doors here today. And I must express special appreciation as well to His Excellency, our Ambassador Miguel, whose commitment to ever strengthening crucial relationship that St. Kitts and Nevis and the Republic of China and Taiwan share has proven to be of such great value to both his and our country.
Back to the roundtable, of course, and there you had it. There was a series of events, including Speed Tech and some of the others here in St. Kitts. So as we go along, we'll get more of this information. Now, energy efficiency, of course, is one of the easiest and most cost-effective way to combat climate change. It cleans the air that we breathe, improves the competitiveness of our businesses, and reduce energy costs for consumers. Mr. Lake, I'm going to go to you. What are some of the things that the government is doing to introduce new energy-efficient technologies, while, of course, boosting the energy, the efficiency of the current technologies that we have in our market? Okay.
Excellent question, Monarch. What I can do though is go back and come forward where we were at. What happened is we saw the need to first, as you said about behavior, we saw the need first to look at where we were. We were a department. We were just doing business as usual. There was no move to probably look at energy efficiency and renewable energy. So with the corporatization of Skillet, that was our first move. So now they can focus on looking at how they can become energy efficient, move in that direction. What we then did, we partnered with the OAS, and we put in place an energy policy. That policy was a document that would look at how do we move forward in terms of looking at renewable energy and energy efficiency. And what we did from that policy, which came into effect in 2011, we looked at a few projects that we said, well, look, we need to look at small projects that are demonstration projects that will give us pertinent data, information that we can now say to the public, this is what happened, this is what we did. And now we have that data because we looked at, as the minister said in the clip, we looked at installing LED lights, we looked at installing solar, we looked at solar panel on government house, we looked at all the little energy efficient things that we can do. And from there, we said, listen, one of the best ways of looking at introducing energy efficient technology is true lighting. That is a very, very important step. True lighting. So what we said, let's analyze what we have in terms of street lighting. Let's analyze what is the normal consumption pattern of lighting in the residence area. We looked at Skillet, we analyzed the data, and we looked at what is the savings that can be realized from this, introducing this energy efficient technology.
Was there a psychological advantage behind lights?
Well, yes.
Or choosing lights?
Well, we chose light because most of us, I mean, maybe I'm not showing my age, but back in our time, our electricity bill was called our lights bill. Yeah. It wasn't termed electricity bill, it's called our lights bill. So it was that behavior that parents back then used to say, make sure you turn off the light. They come in and they turn off the light. But we have now moved into other technologies. So light has become a side technology, whereas we have other technologies. We're now having washer dryers, televisions, refrigerators. So these are other technologies that are coming in, and we know about them being efficient as well. So we said, listen, we have to change our behavior. It's very hard to have persons change that behavior of going to the efficient lighting solutions. So we said one way we can do that is, one, let's look at an efficient technology that have a good lifespan. Once we can change that quickly, because that can be done quickly, then we'll have, for example, LED lighting. They're warranted for 3 to 5 years. We can take that 3 years and now educate people even more of the reason. Not only that, they can see, as Naveen said, people need to see tangible results. So if somebody can say, listen, I changed my bulbs and now I'm saving $20, that is tangible. They can see, wow, I changed my light bulb and now my bill is a little less. Could I then look at something else that I can change? And that's where the education comes in. We can say to you, listen, you change the light bulb, maybe now you might need to look at changing this or invest in this energy efficient technology because it's real saving. So the first impact. The other impact is we're looking at street lighting. We have about 5,000 street lights in St. Kitts.
So lights again, right?
Lights again. St. Kitts probably in the region is probably one of the most, lit country in the Caribbean. I mean, the Venezuelan ambassador, he was, wow, you all have a lot of lights, because he just couldn't understand it. But we do have a lot of lights. 5,000 is a good margin. So we decided, look, this year we'll start with 1,000. We change 1,000 between November and December. And then we looked at changing the rest over time. That again is an energy efficient technology. What that can do, then Skillet might be able to say to us, this is what happened when you made that change in electricity.
Okay.
Like,
but I'm going to stop you there, and I'm going to go to Mr. Cartwright, because, I mean, fine. We understand that you're changing, the street lights, but when I get my bill, my lights bill from Skillet, how does what the ministry is doing impacts, the bottom line for the consumers?
Well, as Mr. Lake said, if a big part of your energy usage is lights, you change from an incandescent light, for example, at 60 watts to one of these new lights that are being given out, the LED lights, at 12 watts. If your lighting bill is very significant of your power bill, you're going to see a 20% of your ordinary bill, and that's a significant drop. I mean, people say 60 to 80% drop in your bill, and that is significant. Also,
very significant.
But that's the lighting portion of it.
That's only the lighting.
Because you're going from 60 to 12.
That's only the lighting, and as he mentioned, once you have recognized that you're getting some saving from the lighting, we can now say, look, you've gone the first step. Let us talk about, say, for example, an energy efficient fridge, or an energy solar water heater, or something that will impact your bill. And that's why we go back to behavior. At the end of the day, and as Dr. Narayan said, well, you actually see the reward in that your bill is reduced by 60 to 80%. And, well, that is your lighting part of your bill when you're talking about lighting. But as we extend it, you'll see the tangible results. And so, in terms of I think it's a good step to start with the lighting, because lighting is visible. It's there and everybody uses it. You walk into your home, the first thing you flick is the light. If you're out, you leave on all your lights all around your veranda and so on. And so it can be significant at the end of the day.
One question that I wanted to ask as well, though, is now with the government itself lighting the streets, or going from the previous ones to now LED lights on the street, does that impact the grid at all?
It does. As Mr. Lake said, 5,000 lights. I mean, 5,000 lights is a lot of lights. The lighting on St. Kitts range from in terms of the wattage, the conventional lights range from about 150 watts to up to 1,000 and so on. And so you have that kind of wattage in your lights. Even say you reach 150, and you change all those out to the new LEDs, which are about 83 watts. You see the significant difference when you multiply by 5,000.
Wow. Interesting. I'm going to go to you, Dr. Narayan. It seems as if you want to get in on this.
Yeah, we'd like to get in on it because, you see, we hear some numbers, but how does that really, how do I relate that to real life and my own life and my own household?
And that's where I was going with the question, because I mean, I know you talk about people want to see the results, but I mean, are there ways for you to know exactly? I mean, hey, what is my washer doing when it comes to my electricity bill?
And that's why sometimes I would like to see, even though you may have an initiative that is implemented broadly, perhaps you could take a particular community or a few households that you could follow over a period of time. And you start off with that number and say, okay, well, what's the efficiency index before? I'm just saying hypothetically an index. You calculate the efficiency at that time. And then you introduce the treatment or the change. And then you say over a period of a month or 4 months, this is what the change is. And once people get to know that at that personal level, then that information can diffuse to other families and friends and neighbors and you name it. But when you throw out some numbers like, okay, well, on the national grid it reduces by this percentage, people can't relate to that. It's like the distance between the sun and the moon. And that sort of thing. So, so that's one way that we can deal with it. But while we talk about lighting, and I know I understand the rationale why you may have introduced lighting first, because it's easy to implement, there are longer hours of usage, more people and so forth. But there are opportunities, many opportunities with simple technologies. Because, you know, and I'm not an engineer in this area, but heating elements. If we were to do an analysis to see in an individual household or enterprise how much is spent on heating, whether it be water or dryer or so forth, versus lighting, and what are the opportunities there. Heating water, I mean, now passive solar drying, you don't even have to convert it to electricity, is almost like a technology that has been here for a long time. It's almost like primitive technology now, fairly simple. Yet there's, I believe, underutilization of that kind of technology. And there's must be a big cost, a huge cost to individual households, enterprises, and even on a wider scale of this. So I would like to understand that some more, and what is your direction you want to, in which you would like to promote that.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Dr. Narayan. I'm going to go back to Mr. Farrell. And I know one of the initiatives, we were talking about technologies earlier, one of the initiatives that SCELEC has undertaken is the installation of smart meters. Now, I was doing some research today, and this is in the tri-state in the in the USA. This is at last count, more than 15 million smart meters have been introduced under an act called the Recovery Act. And it says these are intelligent devices giving consumers access to information on how they use energy at home. I know the project is still pretty new. What has it done so far, based on what you've seen, in terms of not only the educational part of it, because I think that was a big thing where consumers were now able to check the meters to see exactly what is going on, but in terms of, cost reduction as well for their power.
Okay, thank you again for, well, I couldn't come to ZIZ and not mention the end-to-end project. And I'm glad the minister mentioned it. And I assure him that SCELEC is taking up the challenge, and we are running with it. The end-to-end project is a two-pronged project. One part of it is smart meters, and the other part is SCADA, where we smarten the grid, system control and data acquisition, in terms of getting the data back from the system. So most people have heard about this smart meter part, and that is what affects you directly. So let me deal with the smart meters. Okay. Where we are with the smart meters at this moment is that we have done a pilot rollout of 500 meters in the Camps Boyd's West Farm area.
Yes, I was lucky enough to get one.
No, you can give us...
Unfortunately, I don't pay the bills, so I have no idea what it's...
You can give us some of the data back. I mean, as Dr. Mara was talking about, we can help us with the data. But where we are is still in the pilot stage. We are hoping to roll out by, if not by the end of November, early in December, we'll roll out the big part. We're prepared in the background. So the fact that you haven't seen us come out doesn't mean that we are not coming. We are preparing in the background. What the smart meters do, and as you say, it gives a lot of information to the customer. It gives a lot of access to the customer. It gives a lot of control to the customer. And you're able to manage your power use. Now, one tenet of the prepaid of the smart meter is the prepaid function. It's something like a cell phone, prepaid cell phone, pay as you go. Where you can decide how much you are going to pay for electricity this month and back to behavior. Adjust and modify your behavior to fit that and decide I'm going to use this amount. The meter is smart. The meter is going to look at your history and it will be able to tell you based on what you have here and based on your past behavior, you should have 2 weeks of electricity left on this $95, whatever it is that's left. And as Dr. Narayan was talking about counting down, in that sense, it comes down back to zero. And that's when it doesn't shut you off, a hard shut off.
It gives you a warning before,
yes,
right?
It gives you a short cut off. And, smart meters, they can, in the future, talk to your mobile device. You can probably, I had a very interesting conversation with the people who are partnering with us with the smart meters, Corinex, and he was telling me about the different things we can do. He's talking about one day running where you can actually access each appliance in your home. Because they're smart. And one of the greatest things about, let me go back to the prepaid. One of the greatest things about the prepaid function is that the customer loves it. And I am talking from experience with the people in Dominica where it has been rolled out. In Dominica, the customer comes up to, for example, some guys from Dominica came up to me and say, you guys are to put in prepaid meter. And I say, you're the customer, what are you talking about? Yes, but I have control. I am in control of everything. He feels empowered. That's the word. He feels empowered. And so I told my counterpart, boy, you have your job done for you. Half your work is done because your customer is the one who is pushing your technology. So it is an exciting technology. And the other part of the end-to-end project, as the minister mentioned, is the SCADA, where it's going to give us a smarter grid, smarten up the grid. And a SCADA system, a smarter grid, it facilitates what we are doing here now in the Federation, in that we are having renewable energy all over, distributed generation. Rather than one power station in one place, you have a solar farm at RLB, a wind farm in Bellevue, distributed generation, and this smart grid is going to bring it all together. And so it's an exciting project.
Okay,
it's very wonderful.
And I know in some places, smart meters are also, they they give greater information, of course, on how electricity is being used, and utility companies in different places are able to detect and outages and restore power.
Yes.
Real quickly. Would that be something that we will experience here with smart meters as well?
Of course.
Meter tampering as well.
With both sides of it, because the meters are actually speaking back to the computer in the every 15 minutes, or is it twice, 2 times in an hour, every 15 minutes. And you can actually see when the meters go out. So the operator is able to see, well, this area went out. And also the SCADA system, as I said, data acquisition is going to bring back the data. This area is out. If, for example, you have an outage down in St. Paul's, and somebody is in Bastia, to drive all the way down to St. Paul's to manually put back on the system. The people are out for another 15 minutes more than necessary. With the SCADA system, the man in the power station flicks the switch and they're back on. So you have much quicker restoration to their power. So it's very, very exciting.
Okay, well, it sounds like some really interesting information. And, you know, I think we got a lot more to go still. Yes. But we have to say a special thanks to our sponsors once again, St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, National Caribbean Insurance, and digital services, digital security services, that is, and of course, Brimstone Hill, who has consented to join us on the round table in the near future. So we'll take a break, we'll hear from our sponsors, and we'll be back for more discussions on the round table.
National Bank presents its Christmas loan offer. Borrow up to $15,000 for all your shopping needs this Christmas. This offer is valid from November 1st to December 24th, 2014. Call us today to make an appointment. National Bank, endless possibilities.
The knowledgeable, professional, and friendly staff of NCI help me find the solutions to secure my fleet of vehicles and, most importantly, my family. Let National make you and your family safe and secure.
What I really liked were the options that I was given and the knowledge behind the choices, and knowing that I still have the ability to choose and make my own choice and not feel pressured into selecting a different plan.
National Caribbean Insurance is fully committed to providing excellent customer service and a diverse range of insurance products and services. Come and experience insurance the NCI way. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Digital Security Services is the leading commercial and home security company in the Federation. They provide 24-hour monitoring and response to your emergency situations. Our services include surveillance and fire alarm systems and access control. We offer design, installation, monitoring, maintenance, and upgrade of our systems. Our certified and professionally trained technicians can customize your system to suit your specific needs. Contact us today for further information, consultation, or demonstration of our products and services. Telephone 466-4949 or email us at info@digitalsecurityskb.com.
Okay, welcome back to the roundtable, and we were talking about the smart meters and how effective that they're going to be. And you know what? During the breaks, we have so much interesting discussions as to where we're going to go. And Dr. Narayan was talking about marketing some of the information. We know that you're not in marketing; you're Director of Employee and Program at CFB. Yeah. But how can CFB help? I know, universities, colleges are into doing studies and stuff like this. So how can you guys partner with any of, the important people, SCELEC or the ministry, to provide consumers with the data that will help them make an educated choice in terms of energy efficiency?
Yeah. My colleague here spoke about an empowered consumer and one who was willing to try the smart meter and get the results, and would actually promote it because the results were tangible. In a similar way, we can take on action-based research, or action research in which it's results-oriented. You can actually see changes while you're doing the research, and you promote the change. rather than the straw man, chasing straw man, a hypothetical topic trying to prove a theory. It's more about action and results, where we get moved from science to action, and we promote that. So we can market this. I mean, you're in the business of providing a service. So there's nothing wrong with the government also marketing a service, just like a private sector. You can do that. Sure, we can do that too. In the case of student-based projects, there are opportunities in very many subject areas. We often think of them maybe in environmental science, some maybe say in geography, but even in the music and the arts, you could do that. There are opportunities to symbolize certain things. And so if you look at objectives that are already within the various subject areas, dealing with sustainability and climate change and green energy and all these things, they certainly can conceptualize projects if there are opportunities where they can see that the data will be valuable to you and see the impact of their research on something of this nature. So we don't always have to think of a new program that we can implement and adding layers of requirements and students. We look for the existing objectives and we conceptualize projects in them, and students can run with it.
Good. So what we're learning tonight is, of course, there's a holistic approach to energy efficiency, which is very key, of course, to our continued development in St. Kitts Nevis. So I'm going to go back to Mr. Lake. Earlier you did say that there's an energy policy out there. So I have some questions that may be related to the energy policy. Of course, we know that commercial buildings have high energy needs and can put great strain on the nation's power grids. During peak periods, developing more efficient building helps ensure a steady supply of affordable power and significantly lowers operating costs for businesses. With so much new construction taking place in our federation, are there energy efficient standards for the construction industry?
Well, okay, excellent question, Mona. Maybe what we can do is look at the existing business structure. What we have realized is that we met with many of the businesses in an effort to get them involved in energy efficiency and renewable energies. And what we did, with the help of Skillet, is to ask them to look at their own energy portfolio. How can they, along with Skillet and the government, move from full reliance on fossil fuel and look at infusing either renewable energy or energy efficient technology into their business. And through that, we were able to work alongside companies like TDC and SL Horsford. And now we have one or two other, I think Kyograph and Graphics is about. But they sat with us and looked at, and they took the bull by the horn. They decided, listen, we're going to go with you because we have the impetus, I must say, to look at saving on energy. That was one. We also looked at the construction industry. And as we said, sometimes old habits die hard. But we didn't stop there. What we did, we looked at how can we get them involved. And we had a series of workshops that involved some of the players. One was on looking at energy efficiency and energy efficient technology, better building designs. Another one was looking at renewable energies and actually having persons trained in looking at how to size a building for renewable energies, what would the savings that they can be realized. So there are things that we are doing as a ministry. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time because, as I said again, our construction technology might be slow in moving towards, but we have to, bring them on gently and let them understand what the technologies are. The policy do speak to certain changes in our construction technologies, looking at lighting, painting, the facing of our buildings, how to face them, how do we construct in terms of heights. And so there's a bit in it. But as I say again, we have been accustomed to a style of technology that sometimes it's hard to change. But as I say again, we're gonna keep pressing on. We need to get that change happen.
See, I wish the change had taken place when my mom was constructing this house 30-something years ago.
I know.
Then I wouldn't be, stuck in the corner in the hottest room in the house.
Exactly.
One other question as we're talking about construction. Is it necessary for houses or homes to be insulated here in St. Kitts? St. Kitts Nevis?
In terms of, the material that we use provide a certain level of insulation. The current material that we use, we are mainly brick and mortar. That in itself is a certain level of installation. So I don't think that technology would die out. But what the technology that we're looking at, because the NREL, which is a renewable energy lab, they have looked at the Caribbean and what type of technology that is construction technology that can help the Caribbean. We're in a climatic zone that is pretty hot all year round. So they have done that. So the insulation provided from the brick and mortar is very good. It's very good. The thing is, what can we do otherwise than? So they're looking at the height of building, the facing of buildings, the color of the buildings, the roofing material of the building. These are the technologies that can help, right, to realize some energy savings. Even the type of heating technologies, as Narayan mentioned earlier, we still have to look at solar water heating as an option rather than the old element style heating that we use, which tend to burn a lot of current. I mean, the point of use heating element that was just recently introduced, the solar water heater has been there for centuries. Barbados, for example, is prevalent everywhere. Going Barbados, there's a solar water heater, and you can see they started that change. The citizens bought onto it, and that is real. So a house in Barbados will not be built without consideration for a solar water heater. And that's where we want to take our construction industry. Not only that, the developments that are coming on stream, they too would have to make a commitment to, as we said, climate, environment, and economic resilience. They too would have to, because energy is not cheap. Energy is expensive. So whatever we can do as partners to conserve, to look at energy efficiency technologies, that is what we will do with our partners. Just by way of information again, water, the water that we use, that has a huge energy component. Persons might not know that, but water that you use that comes to your pipe have a huge energy component. So this is where we want to go. We want to explain to people, listen, we got to look at it in the big picture. I mean, you can't take water for granted. You can't just take energy for granted. If we do, we'll be losing a lot. Good.
And I'm going to go back to Dr. Narayan, because you're in the college, you're dealing with a lot of young people. How do we, and I don't know if program is the right word, but how do we program our up-and-coming household owners, that you have at CFB right now? How do we program them to understand that energy efficiency is what's going to help them, to do more with whatever money that they make, on a monthly basis?
Yeah. They want to see results, and if we can do the research where they can understand the results and they build the attitudes by doing the research, action research, because one of the major objectives of teaching or learning for that matter, it's not only about the knowledge and the skills, and I said that this morning at another meeting, but it's also about the attitudes. We have to be able to change that. We very often we hardly ever achieve that. because we do not do enough practical oriented projects and get them involved in things that they can appreciate and see the relevance to their personal lives, their family, their communities. So those are the kind of projects that we need to take on. And there are opportunities, as I said earlier, within almost every subject area. As I said, even the arts, you can even have artwork that depicts that or symbolize it. But we have environmental science, we have an entire module of work over a 2-year period. We have six modules of work, one of which is on sustainable energy. And so there are opportunities for student-based research on that. Students submit their research to the Caribbean Examinations Council for the Cape, at the Cape level, and we submit projects every year to that. Now, these research projects, they go off there and they're terminal in the sense that nobody uses them. They go there and you probably never see them back or see how they can be related to something they can implement. Now, if we can partner with your department or your ministry, we can bring those to life. We can show the relevance, and then there's more appreciation, a better attitude will be developed in students when they see the relevance of this research and not just going off as an academic exercise. And so it is that kind of orientation and that kind of approach to teaching that helps to shape attitudes, and we can achieve that.
Okay. Maybe we should take up Dr. Narayan on that and look at some, you know.
We also have, currently I've been teaching that in environmental science. We added a new program to the college about 2.5 years ago in agricultural studies at a tertiary level for the first time in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. Agricultural studies at the college at the tertiary level. Now, in there we have one course that is on renewable energy. I'm teaching that in the semester. So there's application for it in agriculture and of course in other sectors, transportation.
What is the
industry.
interest like in something like that, in a subject area like that?
It's great because where the opportunity was and there was one module of work in environmental science, and many people like that because it relates to climate change, environmental change, a lot of initiatives on that, and sustainability and all these new trends. But out of that one module, there's one module there called sustainable agriculture, and I said, look, let's do some projects, real research projects where they can see results, not just an academic exercise, but also results that can benefit them. They are able to develop the attitudes towards it because they see it's the proof of concept. It's just not theory. They've taken out all of the negative perceptions that they may have had before, like hard work, low paying, least viable economic activities. And now I have young students, females as well, males and females alike, interested in it because they see opportunities.
Correct.
In that.
And I know you mentioned Taiwan.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned Taiwan earlier. I mean, you know, that's the perfect example of where people, I mean, you know, sustain and maintain themselves.
Yeah, and even though they may be discouraged even by their parents to get into the subject area, people are interested in now because we have transformed. It's no longer the traditional approach. It's the non-traditional approach that relates to their experiences and the new technologies that are coming in and so forth. And they're moving along with it. And in there, we're doing renewable energy. And we want to do a project where they can see the results. Maybe build a passive solar dryer for grain or something like that, where they can see a result from it. And so it's no longer just theory, but practice, and from that they can develop theories.
Yeah, very, very interesting concept, Dr. Narayan. And of course, we're looking for great things from CFB because I mean we know that you guys have
we're
done a lot of good
on
stuff.
This.
You're you know, joining with a lot of important institutions throughout the world, not just the Caribbean. In order to ensure that you know you stay current with the information. What we're going to do is we're going to take a break. On the round table. Of course, we're discussing energy efficiency tonight. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have callers weigh in on some of the topics or some of the ideas that we've thrown out tonight here on the round table. Our number is 466-2666. That's 466-2666. And for those who are listening on the radio, I know you're a customer calling 465-2555. You're not going to be able to talk to us if you call the radio tonight. You're going to have to call the television studios at 466-2666. Let's again hear from St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, National Caribbean Insurance, and Digital Security Services are sponsors for tonight's roundtable.
Digital Security Services is the leading commercial and home security company in the Federation. They provide 24-hour monitoring and response to your emergency situations. Our services include surveillance and fire alarm systems and access control. We offer design, installation, monitoring, maintenance, and upgrade of our systems. Our certified and professionally trained technicians can customize your system to suit your specific needs. Contact us today for further information, consultation, or demonstration of our products and services. Telephone 466-4949 or email us at info@digitalsecurityskb.com.
The knowledgeable, professional, and friendly staff of NCI help me find the solutions to secure my fleet of vehicles and, most importantly, my family. Let National make you and your family safe and secure.
What I really liked were the options that I was given and the knowledge behind the choices, and knowing that I still have the ability to choose and make my own choice and not feel pressured into selecting a different plan.
National Caribbean Insurance is fully committed to providing excellent customer service and a diverse range of insurance products and services. Come and experience insurance the NCI way. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
National Bank presents its Christmas loan offer. Borrow up to $15,000 for all your shopping needs this Christmas. This offer is valid from November 1st to December 24, 2014. Call us today to make an appointment. National Bank, endless possibilities.
Before any appliance purchase decision, remember this very simple equation. Energy Sense equals dollar savings. I say it with me. Energy Sense equals dollar savings. That's a sure thing. Energy Sense is looking for labels like the Energy Star. Efficient use so your electric budget stretches far. Turning off electronics at the power source helps others to take the energy saver smart course. Energy Sense equals dollar savings. Tell a friend.
Brought to you by the Eastern Caribbean Energy Labeling Project, the OCS Secretariat, the German government, and the European Union.
Welcome back to the roundtable, and of course, this is the time of the night that we, ask our callers to join us, and of course, you can question us, or you can also bring suggestions to the table. Well, callers are not wasting time tonight. Welcome to the roundtable, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. We're hearing you.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
I have to commend you again for an excellent program.
Thank you.
This program is not only timely, but it's critical because it has a component that every consumer can identify with. Size of their bill. And it will give them ways in which they can get their bill going down. I have 3 questions for you. Now, with the installation of smart meters, would the consumer be able to have an idea of what their bill will be even before they receive their bill from Skillet? That's my first question, because I think you would speak to direct control by change of behavior pattern. I can recall some years ago, the government took another bulb initiative where they brought in energy saver bulbs, and the consumer was able to sustain that in that there was a market for it. How sustainable will these LED bulbs be? Will there be a market for the bulbs once they have been installed? And finally, I know the big corporate industries here have been encouraged to use solar panels through various means. What initiatives, if any, are there to encourage the regular householder to install solar panels? I listen off here.
All right, thank you very much for those questions. What we're going to do is we're going to take notes. We're going to continue to take a couple calls, and then we're going to actually, while we wait to get this next caller set up, Mr. Farrell, you can go ahead and answer some of those questions because...
Let me just take the first one. Whether the customer would be able to know their bills, what the bills are going to be before we send out the bills. Initially, it's going to be in as much as the same way that you do it now with your normal meter. However, down the road, as we roll out more of the technology, we will be able to let you access it by other means, and surely that will come shortly after we have actually implemented the whole project.
Okay. Thank you very much for that answer. We're going to come to you, Mr. Lake, but let's take the next caller who is lined up already. Welcome to the roundtable caller.
Hi, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I was wondering, some of the things you have discussed sound pretty distant to me. Maybe about 30 years away. I hope it's not that far.
No.
I was thinking about transformers during the time you were speaking. Now, 5 megawatt transformer may burn maybe about 4 to 5 units on its own per day without anything plugged up to it, once that is plugged up, because those things are lossy instruments. So what I want to know is, in the new areas in St. Kitts in particular, the new project areas, why is it that the persons don't have the alternative to just get the power off the post rather than to be using these lossy transformers, particularly in new areas? Why is that? Why, what is it take on that, and why isn't that not explained to the public? I'll stay there for now.
Okay, good question, caller. Thank you very much for that. And I don't know, I'm not sure if he's asking whether or not we will have 110 and 220.
That's exactly.
Okay. Go ahead and take these. Go ahead and take notes, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to stop callers at a certain point in time so we can get answers, because callers, we invite them to call so that they can get answers to their questions. Welcome into the roundtable, caller. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
The idea of efficiency as energy is only matter if you can measure it. My first question to you is, you are putting in all of these new electricity poles, these new light poles. How much in quantity electricity is consumed by lighting, street lighting at this time? How much does it cost per month for us to have street lighting? And we would only know if we are being efficient if we know how much it's costing us now, and then we find out how much it's costing us later on. Because I don't think we should just be told we are making it more efficient. We need to know the numbers, not have the numbers being in your offices. Secondly, it would help if these efficiencies could be seen, such as government offices not having air conditioners running overnight, not having the post office with electricity lighting in it 24 hours a day. I don't think the mail is scared of the dark. Not having light flood lamps on the public buildings, the churches, the Catholic Church, the Anglican Church, at 4 in the morning. One could understand at 8 o'clock, 9, even midnight for tourist purposes. But what purpose is there flood lighting a building? It can't be security. After all, the back of the building is in the dark. The thieves could come in at the back. Can't we demonstrate more efficiency that way? And you spoke earlier about solar heating. You spoke earlier about water. It would help if it was a broad-based effort to get the consumer involved, such as taxes being lower on energy-efficient systems such as solar panels, such as water heaters that do not require the use of electricity from the grid. And then just one final thing for this time. The poor consumer is being asked to identify with energy efficiency. Then what if we could actually read our bills? Our bills are rather informative in terms of telling us how much is due. But I have no idea if the energy savings that appears on my bill is accurately computed. It's just a number. How am I supposed to know when this number is comprised of a subsidy from the SIDF for the fuel surcharge, and there's another thing? Please tell us in detail what is it that comprises, quote, energy savings on my bill, so that I know instead of getting $73.30, maybe I should have only got $37.70 or the other way around. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your call. Spoken like a true accountant. We're going to go back to the first caller, though. And I think, Mr. Lake, you had an answer to the second question that he asked. There were two other questions.
Well, two questions. Yes. The first one, they asked about would there be a market for the bulb. Yes, there'll be a market for the bulb. Matter of fact, one or two of the companies that we contacted, because the lifespan of these energy-saving bulbs, about 3 to 5 years, they're warranted for 3 years. So in the event that they get faulty, they'll be replaced for free. But in the interim also, we are also having to prepare the market for that as well. And the second about the installation of solar units on home, I think we probably was slow in rolling it out, but we have an initiative for 300 homes to be outfitted with solar units. The units are sized at about 2.5 kilowatts. So that is a good size for a person with a certain amount of usage. As I said again, I don't know if the caller was listening. What we did first, we trained the persons locally to install these and size and learn about the installation. Then the next step is to invite persons to apply for these units. As I say again, there's a certain amount of units per month that you'll have to use in order to qualify for this. I think the last call also spoke about tax concessions.
Correct.
That's been in place for over about 3 years now. You get tax concessions on energy efficient technologies, bulbs, solar units, so forth. And persons have been taking advantage of this. So we know that persons know about it, and you can probably check the Customs and Excise. And
okay, so the Customs and Excise would have the information?
Would have the information, yes.
Okay.
There's a whole amount of list of products that qualifies.
I'm going to go to Mr. Cartwright, for information. I know
the 110.
One caller was asking about the pulling the 110 from the street as opposed to pulling it from a transformer.
Yes. And the customer is quite right that the transformers in your house, well, transformers by nature are lossy, and they will, especially when they're not being fully utilized, they can be lossy. In St. Kitts right now, the plant, what we have out there as transformers, I mean, the investment in transformers that are 400, 230 volts, it's very, very difficult to change them out wholesale. As you said, the new areas that are being built, can we go 110? I think there are some areas that are actually some new developments that are actually 110 as it is, and are going that way. So it is something, it's been done slowly, but it is not something that can be rolled out immediately wholesale throughout the company. Skellig would not be able to afford that kind of investment at this time.
Okay. We got a couple more calls, so let's get these calls in. We'll take notes and we'll answer your questions accordingly. Thank you for waiting, caller. Welcome to the round table.
Yeah, hello, this is for Mr. Cartwright. We have some pet workers with y'all. What are the initiatives for the pet workers them in getting employed by y'all?
Okay, caller, thank you very much for your question. Not quite energy related, but all right, caller, move away. If you're close to your radio, your TV, just move a little bit away. Listen to your phone, and you'll hear everything that we're saying. Thanks for calling. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
As the young man was talking about the transformer, I'm a technician. I work with technician, okay? And one of the things I'm finding out with the transformer, I find in a lot of homes there's a wrong wiring that they have the phase wire connected and the negative side of the negative thing, and as a result you have 2 voltages coming out from the transformer, right? And that can be dangerous. You have a situation where even we call it stove that the electricity to light the oven. I had a situation where one ignited even though the stove was turned off. And so here we have a situation where people are losing electricity into this way. Because even though you have it turned off, you still have a full circuit because the earth itself become the negative while you have it. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that input, caller. We got another call, so we'll hear what the caller has to say. Good evening, welcome. Go ahead, caller. We're hearing you. Well, actually, we're not.
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. Good evening to the panel.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Now, some time ago, it was being said that a wind farm would be set up in the Bellevue area on St. Kitts to produce renewable energy. It was my understanding then that that company would be independent of Skellig. And so, my question, if that would be so, then how would Skellig engage that company in making electricity available to the people of St. Kitts, if it is independent of Skellig?
Okay, caller. Thank you very much for your call. We do have a couple of questions. So we'll let's start with Mr. Farrell. Yeah, he did say he would get most of the calls tonight. I don't know if he told his friends to listen.
I go back to the efficiency of the street lights. I don't know if you want to take that, Mr.
Oh yeah, there was a question about what the cost.
I can. The customer wanted to know how quantifying the efficiency of the street lights. When you look at the wattage of the old street light at say 150 watts, and the wattage of the new street light, the LEDs, which is 83, that's say roughly 70 watts, almost half the energy used. So immediately you would be able to see that there is significant saving in terms of, and once, as I said before, once you multiply by 5,000, it's almost dividing the street light bill to the government by 50%.
But I think also the caller was asking if we can quantify that, and yes, we quantify that, because we actually know how much we are built monthly for our street lights.
Okay.
And we would now be able to determine that, because we would now know exactly what would our real savings be. But even before that, we also we have the services of a consultant for 2 years, right, to the Republic of China, Taiwan, that is attached to the ministry, and these are the type of analysis that we have done to look at these sort of initiatives. So the one with the street lights, yes, we do have the data, and the caller may be right. Maybe this is data again. I'm going to piggyback on Dr. Narayan, and said maybe this is the excellent forum for us to say that we would now have to partner with CFB to get these type of action research out, so that people actually see and know the government, because people don't, it's not a secret. People would know exactly what we're paying for streetlight and what we would now look at in terms of our streetlight.
What the caller was saying is that you don't need to keep the data in the office.
No, we don't.
You need to have it out there. And there are a couple of points I would like to make. One of the callers talked about solar panels in homes. Right. And one of the very important characteristic of solar energy is that it's distributive, in that it could be widespread at various scales or levels. So that's very important, and so it's important that we take that into consideration and demonstrate how that is done and measure the impacts. There was another call to talk about efficiency, and these are kind of things that spoke directly to building attitudes. It can only be we can only know if it's efficient if it's measured, and we need to let people know of the results. And students as well, when they do their research, they should be able to measure that. Then it must be seen. That's very tangible. There must be consumer involvement, and there must be reading. You'll be able to read the bills and have some indicator of efficiency. So all these are very important things in consideration. Now let me speak to one thing else. Another thing here. At the college, I'm currently negotiating with partners in the private sector, educational institutions elsewhere, to bring a program at CFBC on renewable energy. I spoke earlier about 2 courses, one in sustainable agriculture and the other one in environmental science. But we want to talk about an entire program now for renewable energy. And we often sometimes hear about initiatives, either by the government or projects, big projects, international projects, whether it be in marine resources or it's energy or agriculture, and you name it. And they talk how important education is. But when I ask about what consideration in the budget is there for an educational program, sometimes there's hardly any or none. And so there are opportunities for us to partner on this, because we can show you it's not only an academic program with academic work, but we have projects that we work on. We have a project in agriculture. We are already publishing on it. We are going to replicate this concept in 5 countries. So it's action research where we see tangible results. We have community outreach on it. We can do the same thing for renewable energy.
Yes.
So we just need a partner in this. The caller asking about PEP workers, I think I know where that caller is going with that. Is there a program that we can partner on to train these individuals? We already have one with PEP members at the college in tourism and hospitality. And we conceptualize a program within the larger framework where we can train them on a competency-based level, but we can have them matriculate or articulate with an associate's degree program at a later time for those who wish to go on. But even in a first year or in one semester or in a short course, they can achieve some competencies. And so there are opportunities for that as well.
Yes.
We could talk about that and how we can develop a program for them.
Well, I think the PEP worker is talking about something specific, and I don't think we need to deal with it in public at the moment. He can come and see me at my office.
One other thing that a caller mentioned, of course, too, was the wind farm in Bellevue.
Yes. The wind farm, and this is something that is normal in the world. The power doesn't have to be generated only by the power company. You have a situation where a private developer develops, in this case, a wind farm or a solar farm, and they sell the power to the power company at an agreed rate by a power purchase agreement. And that would be the arrangement under which Skellig would buy power from a private wind farm in Bellevue.
Okay.
So it's not that they can sell to anybody that they wish. They'll have
No.
to sell.
They have to sell to the
It's-
power company.
it has
and
to
then,
be-
then
Right.
it's
Right.
redistributed to,
Right.
to
Exactly.
consumers.
Exactly.
Even though the generation of power is to some extent liberalized, the distribution of power is solely the responsibility of Skellig.
Okay. Interesting. And we're still taking your calls. If you have a question,
Yeah.
concern, you can call us at 466-2666, 466-2666. In the meantime, we're going to, of course, go ahead and engage our our guest tonight. And I do have a question here. In the St. Kitts Nevis context, what are the challenges faced in trying to pursue energy efficiency? For example, how do you get a poor person, I don't know if I like the word
I like
poor, but somebody who doesn't make as much money as some other people, not some of us, of course, to purchase energy-saving appliances when the less energy efficient ones are much cheaper. It's like buying food. The healthy foods cost more. Anyway, we're going to answer that question when we after we talk to the next couple of callers.
Yes, good evening.
Yes.
Yes, I'm just wondering if you all are the one who are responsible for giving out the energy saving bulbs.
Okay.
Because what I realized that they started to give them out and they made a big sudden stop. So I was wondering what was really the problem. So I would like you all to answer that for us, please. Let us know what is really happening. In Lanky area, they started to give them out and then they just stopped. We don't know what's happened. We don't have what's done. We don't know what's going on. So
Okay.
you all could deal with that for us, please.
All right. Thank you for that question, caller. I'm sure the permanent secretary will be able to answer that. Do we have another call in the meantime? Okay. So maybe you can go ahead and take the caller.
Yeah, I'm not aware of a sudden stop. I know what happened is the program is being distributed island-wide.
Okay.
So it's
you're not going in a straight line?
Straight line, no. So it's
Okay.
distributed island-wide. So one community might be
Yeah, 'cause I'm
getting
still
the
waiting for
exchange.
mine in Boyce.
Right, they might be getting the exchange today, and then tomorrow it might be another community in another part of the island. So probably that caller, he said it's Limekeel?
Limekeel, yes.
But I'll look into it because I know we probably did some area down there already, but I don't know if we have done all over.
But you did
we will
mention
go back.
earlier that there was going to be a depot.
Yeah, and that is the one of the snags we encountered. Just like any program, there's always some hiccups. We looked at the type of bulbs. There are two types: the screw and the push bulbs, and we realized that there were quite a bit of residents who have the push bulbs, right? And we did a quick survey before we purchased. So we ran out of the push bulbs.
Okay.
But what happened is we have already caught up in terms of we purchased some adapters that can fit into the regular screw bulbs that now turn them into push bulbs. So I don't know if that's what the caller was speaking about. But again, the depot was set up for situations like that. So if you weren't able to get all of your bulbs at one time, then there'll be a note that you can come to the depot and get that exchange. So I don't know if that they're calling about, but no, the program is in full gear. We hopefully will stop at around the 21st or 22nd of December because, we're getting to the season. So persons want to do their little party, and then we'll again pick up as
We
the
don't
canvas.
want any lights.
We don't, no.
Turn the lights down.
Turn the lights down, right.
All right. So the question that I was asking basically is, I'm a consumer. I'm trying to save some money from my salary, and hey, I go out there, I want to purchase, a washer and dryer, And I mean, you know, I go to one of these big fancy stores down here, and the salesperson is, you know, directing me to the least expensive item, knowing that, you know, I'm going to have to pay for the rest of that item on my power bill. How do we get people to understand that, I mean, you know, they're going to have to make a lifestyle change in order to be energy efficient? I'm going to go to Dr. Nara, and he teaches at the college, so
let me
no
define
kind
that.
of psychology.
I'm glad you went to Dr. Nara.
I can actually define that as a dilemma. but here's probably the strategy is where you have on the one hand the service provider, you have the consumer, and you could perhaps have an investor or a financing company where you have a three-way arrangement so that the consumer isn't in that dilemma or impacted so greatly. I mean, I know insurance companies have a way of selling insurance even though you don't see the immediate benefit, and they do sell insurance. We all have insurance for automobiles, houses, and so on. So that's probably a strategy that maybe has to be used, not only the consumer and the service provider, but an additional entity.
All right, thanks for that,
and
Dr.
maybe
Moran.
just picking up on Dr. Nara, yes, because these are called energy service companies. They act as the middle person, so they can realize some of the savings by assisting the consumer. That is one area that I've spoke with Skellick about that. That's one of the areas that we're looking at. The energy service company that would take care of like me and you, who paychecks are very small. So.
Interesting concepts. Let's go ahead. We're going to take the next call, and then we're going to come back. Thank you for your patience, caller. Welcome to the round table.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I want to find out something. When they come to give the bulbs, right? I was told, I don't know if that's what it is, I was told that you have to give, if you have maybe 5 sockets in your house, and you only have 2 bulbs, that's what they're going to give you. Are they giving you to full all that you have?
Okay.
Because I was told that you have to give whatever you give them, that's what they give you.
Yes.
Whatever bulb you have in your house, they give you.
Yeah.
So I want to know if what really the problem. Because my house having a lot of sockets, but I don't put bulbs in all of them. But and then some people take for every socket in the house, and they don't have they don't use all of them.
Okay, interesting question,
And
caller.
then next thing, in my area, I understand that almost everybody up here in my area got. And up to now I haven't got any, and every minute I keep asking them, and I keep saying they're gonna come. So I don't know what's really going on.
What area is that?
Which area are you in?
Taylor's area.
Taylor's, okay.
Taylor's.
Okay. Well, thank you, caller. We'll get Mr. Lake to answer your questions. Do we have another call? We'll take this call as well. Good evening. Welcome. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. We're hearing you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes.
Good evening.
One question I want to ask Mr. Farrell. If I have a business and I set up a solar system on top of it, is the smart meter capable of, like if I could export the power back to the grid in the day?
Short answer, yes.
Yes.
Did you get the answer, caller?
Yes, so the other question is, what savings would I have as
a consumer?
Would I see it in my bill?
Business?
As a consumer, would I see it in my bill?
You're talking about a business?
Yeah.
Yes. It will depend on the size of his.
Be it a business or maybe a resident.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, your question is basically if you're selling power back to Skellick,
right?
You want to know how it would affect the bottom line on your bill,
right?
Okay, I think we got the gist of your question, caller. We'll get to that as well. And we're gonna take the next call. We're getting close to the end of our show tonight. Caller, go ahead. We're waiting on you. Hello? Okay. that caller didn't stay with us for long. Mr.
Maybe I can look at the bulb exchange because the caller was mentioning that.
Yes.
Yeah, as I said, it's a bulb exchange. So I guess if the caller before were only using 4 lights in the house and was comfortable with that, well, we'd exchange the 4.
So it's not sockets?
It's not sockets, it's a bulb exchange. So whatever lighting solution you have in your house, if you have 10 bulbs that you use in your house, we'll exchange those 10 bulbs.
So do you have to take the bulb out of the socket, or can I take it out of my drawer?
Well, there's one of 2 things. You can ask us to come in and help and change them, or you can take them out pre our arrival.
Okay.
So that it'll make it easier, and we sort of prefer that process. Good. So if you leave one in that you have light, and you take out all the others, and then we'll just come and then you have that little extra one that it makes the process go faster.
Okay, we're gonna get back to you, Mr. Farrell, on the question about selling power back to the SCELEC or to the grid. Right. But we're gonna take this next call we have on the line. Caller, welcome.
I would like to hear some concrete numbers. I believe you that if we replace the existing bulbs that we have by the new energy-saving devices, we are going to save electricity. Right. I believe you that if we replace the existing street lamps that we have by the new systems, we are going to save electricity. What I would like to hear is concrete numbers. If a typical household has, let's use a number, $100 of consumption a month, and they remove the electricity, the bulbs that they have at this time, by the new ones, and have the same amount of number of hours per month. Could you give us concrete numbers? How much should one expect to save? After all, you tell us that the Taiwanese have done all of these investigations. Why not share this information with us? We, the people who pay the bills for the street lights, would like to know. It's our taxes are paying these bills, paying SCELEC for these electricity bills.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Very important question. We're taking notes, and we're going to answer all these questions. I think we got another caller on the line. Welcome. Good evening. Go ahead, caller. We're hearing you. Yes, caller. Welcome to the round table. We're hearing you.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I have a question for Mr. Cartwright, or at least 3 questions rather. The first one, what is SCELEC's policy with regards to residential solar generation? How will the smart meters affect residential solar system installation? And since the government is pro-renewable energy generation, when can we expect SCELEC to roll out their net metering program? These are my questions.
Okay. All right, thanks for your questions. Okay, so we're going to hold. Do we have any more calls? No. Okay, so we're going to hold there for now, and we're going to answer some of these questions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the caller was asking about actual numbers, and just let me read some off. We average about 7 to 10 lights per home. And what we found is that if we replace 760-watt bulb, within a month they would have generated 51.1 kilowatt hour.
With the 60?
With the 60, the old bulb. Just
Okay.
using, and that is based on just 4 hours of use.
Okay.
We're saying if you use for 4 hours, from 8 to midnight and then you go to sleep, that's just 4 hours. In a year you would have used 613 plus kilowatt hours. When we replace them with hours, based on our analysis, you would have used 8.5 kilowatt hour per month, which amounts to 102 plus per year. So we're looking at, in a year, you would have gone from 100 plus, from 613 to 100 plus. That is real savings. That is real saving kilowatt hours. And again, back on the team, what does that do? That allows SCELEC to use less energy at the power station, and if you can do the multiplier effect. So we did it for everything from lighting. We also looked at, as Dr. Nair would have said, we also did a study on moving away from the tube-type television to the sort of LED televisions that we have, and we also did that analysis. And just for the caller, what we did the analysis of a 2-bedroom household being inefficient in terms of energy. They would have used 183 kilowatt hour per month, and by becoming energy efficient, they can use 67 kilowatt hours per month.
Is this information available to the public? I guess that's what the caller wants to know.
Actually, no, it's not. But as I say again, I would agree that as the caller said, we have to make this public. And again, I'm gonna link with Dr. Narayan to get this out.
I think that is very important because I think going back to Dr. Narayan's original statement is that people want to know. They want to see the hard facts. I mean, in order for them
and
to
even with the numbers,
the
we can have graphic representation of the numbers and even
We
translate
could.
that in dollars. So that's what we do in student-based projects, because in presentation of the data, analysis, discussion, etc., we have methodologies or ways of presenting that.
Right. Okay. And what we did, we looked at the scenario if they only upgraded the lighting system. And they're looking at 67.4 kilowatt hours just by upgrading the lighting alone. So we looked at different scenarios. If you go full energy efficient, you looked at changing out everything from ACs to water heaters and so on. That's what we looked at. You're going from 100 plus to 67. But again, I think that caller is correct. We can get that information out, and we'll link with the college to do that.
Okay. And so I'm going to go to Mr. Farrell. There were some questions from the last caller.
Yes.
There was some solar mention again. I know we haven't really spoken a lot about solar tonight because we can't do all of this in just 2 hours.
I think the gist of all 4 questions is being able to sell power back to Skelec and what kind of policies and so on we are putting in place. I think we have been speaking for some years about feed-in tariff with the government. I don't think that has been finalized. That hasn't been finalized as yet. And however, I know that there are people who are actually using solar energy that by default would be net metering back to Skelec because there's no actual, the policy hasn't been put in place, but as you use your power, our meter tends to go backward, and so when we come to read the meter, we actually read what's there, and what would have already turned backward is what you would have sold us. So in most cases, you would have paid the difference anyway, by default. But we are seeking to get a policy in place where we can do net metering, which says basically, since you didn't pay anything to put the infrastructure in place, you cannot get the same benefit that Skelec has, the power company that has to pay for the poles, the maintenance, everything, replacement, insurance, whatever it is. And then you come and you get the same amount of money for the power back to Skelec. So we have to find a way to say it's a net metering issue where we are paying you based on what your avoided cost of fuel, for example, or something like that.
So it's like any other business.
Yes.
I mean, you import something and you have to pay to get it here. Yeah. You have to pay customs duties and VAT and different things like that. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to take our final break for the night. And we'll come back and we'll, try to tie all of this together. We've had an interesting discussion so far tonight, and we want to thank all the callers for weighing in with their questions and suggestions. We'll take a break. We'll hear from our sponsors, St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank, National Caribbean Insurance, and Digital Security Services.
Explore the history of St. Kitts with a visit to the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park. This 42-acre complex of fortifications has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Upon entering the fortress, you can choose to visit the gift shop and orientation center, where you can purchase unique, high-quality items at duty-free prices. Or you can look in on the Fort George Museum, which boasts a collection of military and other exhibits unrivaled in the Eastern Caribbean. The breathtaking view of Brimstone Hill includes the mountain range and a view of several other islands on a clear day, and of the Sandy Point Bay that the fortress once defended. Visit us and really experience the history of St. Kitts. This venue will also lend an indescribable ambience to your wedding or banquet.
Digital Security Services is the leading commercial and home security company in the Federation. They provide 24-hour monitoring and response to your emergency situations. Our services include surveillance and fire alarm systems and access control. We offer design, installation, monitoring, maintenance, and upgrade of our systems. Our certified and professionally trained technicians can customize your system to suit your specific needs. Contact us today for further information, consultation, or demonstration of our products and services. Telephone 466-4949 or email us at info@digitalsecurityskb.com.
The knowledgeable, professional, and friendly staff of NCI help me find the solutions to secure my fleet of vehicles and, most importantly, my family. Let National make you and your family safe and secure.
What I really liked were the options that I was given and the knowledge behind the choices, and knowing that I still have the ability to choose and make my own choice and not feel pressured into selecting a different plan.
National Caribbean Insurance is fully committed to providing excellent customer service and a diverse range of insurance products and services. Come and experience insurance the NCI way. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
National Bank presents its Christmas loan offer. Borrow up to $15,000 for all your shopping needs this Christmas. This offer is valid from November 1st to December 24th, 2014. Call us today to make an appointment. National Bank, endless possibilities.
Here in the Eastern Caribbean, electricity is not cheap. What might look like a good deal on an appliance could turn out to be more costly than you imagine, because the cheaper appliance may not be as energy efficient as the other and may cost you more when using it. So always remember the equation.
Energy sense equals bonus savings. Tell a friend.
Brought to you by the Eastern Caribbean Energy Labeling Project, the OCS Secretariat, the German government, and the European Union.
Welcome back to the final segment of the roundtable for today or this evening. We've had an interesting discussion, but everything that we said tonight would mean nothing if there's no way forward. So what is the way forward? I mean, is it time for the government to implement strong regulations, policies, and standards, etc., to ensure the citizens become more energy conscious and develop sustainable energy conservation habits and lifestyles? I'm going to start with you, Dr. Narayan.
Well, it seems like there is data been collected, and our permanent secretary here, Mr. Lake, has mentioned that. SCELIC also gathers data. We heard a recurring question, where's the data? We need the hard evidence. And I think there is a wealth of data that we can start to distill and present. We can gather more data. But importantly, we want to be able to draw the relationship between a particular behavior and what it means in terms of dollars, what it means in terms of energy savings, efficient benefits. There are benefits, but people are not really aware of it. And even if we hear about it, we cannot really conceptualize it because we don't understand it and it's not impacting our behavior. So we need to be able to do that, and there are creative ways to do this. So in programs that we develop, in public awareness, it's not just announcements, but being able to actually make people understand, see it,
correct,
graphically present it, and all these things. There are creative ways. One of the callers talked about a bill. How can the bill be understood more? It's almost like a tax code when you receive it. And as much as I read, it's also difficult for me. So there are creative ways, and we need to take cues from what we have heard, and there's a lot that can be accomplished.
All right, Dr. Narayan, thank you very much. Mr. Farrell?
Just quickly, one of the things that pleased me with the programs that are planned for the week that Mr. Lake put out is getting the schools involved, shaping young minds. The way forward is getting, and I end as I started, behavior change. Change the small things, not very, it doesn't have to be long. Behavior change, and I think it's easier to convince and change the minds of these school kids and school children, and they in turn will take the message home to their parents and so on. So that's basically where I think the next step should be.
All right, thanks again, Mr. Farrell, giving you the doctor's title tonight for being so patient. And now we're going to have Mr. Lake, your final wrap, sir.
Okay, again, when I had quite an excellent show. I wish we could be here a little longer, but most of us are tired, busy life, busy schedule. But is regulation the answer? I don't know. But I think what two colleagues hit the nail on the head, where they say that we have to start to look at behavior. Not only look at behavior, because people need to see tangible results. What am I getting back from this? And I think if we can show them, and I think that probably one of there's data. Government is full of data. But the problem, how do we translate that data into simple language that a consumer can receive and say, if I do that, then this is real. That is the $1 million question. And I think, from the listeners, the viewers, we have great minds in St. Kitts, and I think we are probably going to meet some more, discuss some more, and see how we can get this thing right. Because we have to get it right. We have to get it right for the climate. We have to get it right for the environment. We have to get it right for the economics. We cannot continue to be sustained with high electricity bills. It's not going to allow us to have a sustained energy future if we don't look elsewhere. Renewable energy, energy efficiency, and say internationals, if you do this, this is the outcome. Tangible results.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks to all of you for joining us on another successful edition of the Roundtable. We have learned a lot tonight, but probably the most significant fact is that energy efficiency in St. Kitts Nevis will help us to control the detrimental effects to our natural environment because of the increase in energy usage linked to the amplification, and I don't know if you can amplify emissions of greenhouse gases, especially from our constant dependence and use of fossil fuels. Join us on our next edition when we will discuss important elements of the Legal Profession Act here in St. Kitts Nevis. Steve Manners will be in the hot seat as I take some time off for a well-deserved vacation made possible by the expert care of Dr. Takashel, my doctor. Thank you, sir. That's our show tonight. See you next week.
Okay, let's get ready to help our customers make more energy efficient choices. Know the energy labels. Remember, Caribbean people want energy efficient options and tips on how to save electricity. So remember, energy cents equal dollar savings.
Energy cents equals dollar savings.
Brought to you by the Eastern Caribbean Energy Labeling Project, the OCS Secretariat, the German government, and the European Union.